Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you. We are going to call upon on stage Maulana Nasser Mirazi to give us the opening prayer.
نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسول الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم وقال لي الصلاة والسلام الدعاء مخ العبادة صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسول الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين الحمد لله رب العالمين. Just to brief the audience of the words that I've recited before you, that as Muslims, we believe, and we well know that everybody has a religious belief. Our belief as Muslims is that everything that is devoid of the word of God, the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the praises of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is also devoid of blessings and barakah. Barakah means blessings. So in order for us to attain those blessings as Muslims, we normally start with prayers unto God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the final messenger of God. And then we commence with whatever task that we wish to commence thereafter. So these wordings that we have just recited before you, nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallim, that we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wa nusallim, and we subjugate ourselves before His messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then towards the end of the prayer, we recite a small verse with the given context. Like the given context here is prayer, which I have been appointed to do, where our Almighty God says, say to my servants, O Muhammad, because the Quran was revealed to Muhammad, call to me your Lord and I will respond to your prayers. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our Prophet, has also taught us that dua, prayer unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the essence of worship. So with this combination of prayer, we beseech Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we request Him to put blessings and success in whatever we are doing. There have been books upon books, or volumes upon volumes of books which are detailing or detailed prayer. So this goes to show how important Muslims hold prayer. So inshallah we will commence with a small prayer, and then inshallah I will try to explain what the prayer means. So normally our Muslim delegates will know that we raise our hands unto God like this in two ways. Some raise it like this, etc., but we tend to keep them close because it is likened to a begging bowl, that you are begging from God. We like to realize ourselves as servants of God. So in order to show our servitude to God, we raise our hands in this manner, just above our chest. So, Allahumma anta salam, minka salam, tabarak ya dal jalal wal ikram. You can all join me. Tabarak ya dal jalal wal ikram. Allahumma anta salam. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم اهد أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم تجاوز عن أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. That was the prayer in short and concise, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, to bless the occasion and to also accept it from us. And obviously the acceptance of God is very much dependent on what our intentions are behind the program. And also I've actually stated before we actually came here that the term halal is actually what we would like to say is an intellectual property of Islam. So my request for you today is, as you are here today, please try to not misuse the term. Halal is not restricted to a Muslim, as Sheikh Ibrahim Patel was explaining to me, that is not restricted to being a Muslim. But in order for a person to make a product halal, there are preconditions which a person has to adhere to, which is extremely important that we acquaint ourselves with what these preconditions are. So it is not just a general thing, and also there are some products which can be produced by a non-Muslim and can be considered as halal. So with the course of with our session here having taken course, then those who have been tasked with that duty will explain to you how do you go about making an animal halal, how do you go about producing anything for that matter that is halal. Just to be clear on the term halal, which means permissible, it is a term, Arabic term, which means permissible. Halal means permissible. There is actually a brochure here, but it's in Zulu. So if somebody could take the honors of actually reading it to you and trying to understand, or grabbing one from the exhibition center later on and acquainting yourself with what halal is. And halal is such an awesome term, can I put it that way? Because the benefits of something being halal will not only benefit the Muslim, but it will benefit our economy as well, and it will benefit the individual, because the address from God is, O people. It does not say, O Muslims, but rather it says, O people, eat of the pure and the wholesome. Nowadays we are all trying to conserve life, and primarily the thing that we try to conserve the most, the life that we try to conserve at first, is our own lives. So God is telling us a way of how to conserve life, that consume of the pure and the wholesome. That is actually the message from God, from the Quran Sharif, which was revealed upon Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam 1,400 years plus, and it still holds true up till today. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this gathering and also to make it in conformity with the Sharia. Subhanallah bihamdihi, subhanakallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta.
Thank you, sir, for the prayer and for the explanation. I think we are learning, all of us, those who want to be part of this economy. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate. We about trade and investment, but also showcasing what we do in this province. We are a province with a name and a surname, KwaZulu-Natal, and I know now that Northwest has followed suit. It's called Bokoni Bophirima, so we are leading as a province. Thank you. Yes, can come.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة. أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم صدق الله العظيم. Before I take you to the meanings of the verses I recited, I would just like to put this to your attention that these verses I recited encompass every aspect of our lives, and perhaps while listening to the meanings, a question will arise: what's the relevance with today's gathering? The relevance of these verses with today's gatherings. So I will start. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah. In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد. O you who believe, be conscious of Allah. ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد. Let man see or look at what he will bring forth in the morrow. واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. Be conscious of Allah. Allah is aware of your actions or is aware of what you do. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم. Be not like those who have forgotten Allah and Allah made them forget themselves. The commentators of this verse say that الذين نسوا الله, meaning those who have forgotten Allah, it means that those who have forgotten their purpose in life and those who have forgotten their mission. So Allah made them forget themselves. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة. The people of the fire and the people of paradise are not equal. أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. People of paradise are the successful ones. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. He is Allah, the one who la ilaha illahu, none is worthy of worship besides him. Huwa ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He is the most the compassionate, the most merciful. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illahu, al-Malik al-Quddus, al-Salam, al-Mu'min. Al-Malik, he is the king, he is the sovereign, he is the Al-Malik Al-Quddus. Al-Quddus, he's the Holy One. Al-Malik Al-Quddus. As-Salam. As-Salam, he's the provider of peace. As-Salam Al-Mu'min. Al-Mu'min, he's the provider and the preserver of faith. Al-Muhaymin, he is the guardian. Al-Muhaymin Al-Aziz. Al-Aziz is the Almighty. Al-Jabbar is the irresistible. Al-Mutakabbir, the proud, or the proud one. Al-Mutakabbir. Subhanallah amma yasifun. Subhanallah amma yashrikun. He is above what is being ascribed to him. Huwa Allahu al-Khaliq al-Bari al-Musawwir. He is Allah, the creator, al-Bari, the originator, al-Musawwir, the fashioner. Huwa Allahu al-Khaliq al-Bari al-Musawwir. Huwa Allahu al-Khaliq al-Bari al-Musawwir. Lahu al-Asma'ul Husna. For him is the beautiful names. يسبح له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. What is in the heavens and what is on earth, it glorifies him. وهو العزيز الحكيم. He is the Almighty, the wise. Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the prayer. We are blessed this morning. We are starting our day with the blessings. Thank you. We are going to move with our program. We will be showcasing the KZN destination video. Please enjoy.
I do it.
Apologies about that. We will deal with the video towards the end. Let's then move forward. I think it's important that when they prove me wrong.
KwaZulu-Natal is an enticing, sophisticated, and spectacular destination. As one of South Africa's 9 provinces, it is the country's second largest economy. The ambitious future growth of the province lies primarily in its positioning as the gateway to Africa. Nowhere else in the continent is the combination of sea, land, and air logistics being more developed and optimized as it is in KwaZulu-Natal. The province boasts 2 of the largest seaports in sub-Saharan Africa: Durban Container Terminal, which has recently been widened and deepened, and Richards Bay Harbour, the country's busiest deep water and break bulk port, and home to the privately operated Richards Bay Coal Terminal. Both ports are backed by a world-class rail and road infrastructure, giving KwaZulu-Natal a key competitive advantage. The N2 is an important corridor connecting Durban and Richards Bay, and the N3 links Durban with a double-lane artery to the bustling capital of Gauteng. When it comes to fast, agile access to global markets, King Shaka International Airport is Southern Africa's premier air logistics platform. Situated at the Durban trade port, this area truly prioritizes integrated air services. The province has the second highest export propensity as well as the second highest level of industrialization in the country. Toyota South Africa, the country's largest vehicle manufacturer, is located in the province, as are several major national suppliers. The ship repair, shipbuilding, and boat building industries also have a long and proud history in Durban. The province's chemical and plastic subsector is well established, versatile, and diversified. Minerals and mining are key industries in the northern areas. KwaZulu-Natal's agricultural sector boasts a wide diversity of high-quality agricultural land, and it is the country's leading producer of timber and manufacturer of timber products. KwaZulu-Natal is also striving to be a strong ICT and electronics contributor. To ensure growth and development of its wide variety of sectors, special economic zones have been identified as a conduit for economic growth. With its subtropical climate, and breathtaking settings, KwaZulu-Natal is South Africa's domestic tourism leader. From its metropolitan heart in Durban, you will never be more than 3 hours away from the pristine beaches of the south, the majestic Drakensberg to the west, or the Isimangaliso Wetland Park in the north. As a place to live and work, KwaZulu-Natal offers world-class infrastructure and excellent medical, educational, social and cultural facilities. A skilled and semi-skilled labor pool also ensures that current and budding enterprises will have the right people readily available. With so many opportunities at hand, there's never been a better time to unlock the potential of KwaZulu-Natal. Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal, your knowledge partner in business.
Indeed, we are ready for business and we are serious. That's what we can offer, and we are calling everyone who wants to be part of this journey to join us and be part of the future that is envied by everyone in the world. And I think we're on the right path as a province to ensure that we grow our economy and we realize what I normally call a well-being economy. Without further ado, I think it's important that before we start our business, we are welcomed at home. I will be calling on stage Councillor Madlala, who will be coming forward to welcome us so that we will be relaxed as we participate, representing His Worship, the Mayor of eThekwini, who could not be with us today. I'm going to call on stage Mayor Madlala. Baba, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Mr. Nkondwan. Let me take this opportunity to greet our MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, MEC Ravi Pillay. Greet the Presidential Envoy, Ms. Phumzile Langeni, all stakeholders present, investors, senior government officials, panelists, international guests and speakers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, let me say all protocols observed. Good morning, Sanbonani eThekwini. As eThekwini municipality, we are delighted to host the KZN Trade and Investment Indaba, which coincides with World Halal Day. We are pleased to host the conference on the Human Rights Month, and we are optimistic that will serve as a reminder to all delegates in this Indaba that South Africa has come from a legacy of apartheid which deprived the majority of our people of this country to exercise their right to participate in the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, the hosting of this Indaba in the city of Durban is yet another vote of confidence in our city as we remained the preferred destination for major international events. We are indeed excited about this opportunity because it has a potential to boost our tourism industry and other sectors which have been adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We want to assure you, Program Director and all delegates who will be attending this Indaba, that we will deliver a successful and memorable event. Our hospitality industry is ready to welcome you. Our law enforcement agencies, including our own Metro Police, will maintain high visibility in all corners of the city to ensure that you are safe and free to visit the entire city. Program Director, the City of Durban fully supports the hosting of this prestigious event as it presents an opportunity to grow our economy and to create jobs. KwaZulu-Natal is one of the attractive destinations for investment in the country, as you have seen in the video. Apart from our beautiful weather, we are endowed with vast tracts of land and thousands of kilometers of coastline, which can be used to grow the ocean economy. It is therefore important that we have engagements of this nature to employ practical solutions that will guarantee that we take full advantage of these resources and to benefit the people of our country and those who are investing in it. It is an undeniable fact that the majority of our people, blacks in general and Africans in particular, are not benefiting from these endowments, due of course to the legacy of apartheid, as I've alluded earlier. Therefore, we view the hosting of the KZN investment in Indaba as a step in the right direction for the people of KwaZulu-Natal to claim ownership of the benefits from their wealth. This Indaba must challenge all of us to think outside the box and come up with practical solutions to build an economy that reflects the demographics of our province and that of our country. With these few remarks, I want to make a call to all stakeholders to work together to build a united, peaceful, and economically thriving province. Government alone cannot be able to deal with the developmental challenges that are facing our country and our province. We need all hands on deck to address the challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. With those few words, ladies and gentlemen and excellencies, we want to welcome you to this beautiful city of Durban in the municipality called eThekwini Metro. Siyabonga. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hlogo. We really appreciate. Now we can feel at home. We have been welcomed. There's an item that we couldn't push forward, but I think it's appropriate that we do it now. All of us want to be alive and be safe when we leave this conference. We'll be playing a video on the safety of this conference hall where we are and other areas. After that, we will then be playing the word Halal video, so they will be following each other. So I'm going to hand over to the colleagues here at ICC just to demonstrate to us what is it that we need to do, what is it that we shouldn't do as the delegates of this event. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Durban ICC, where the world meets Africa. As a leading world-class events facility, we make your safety our #1 priority. Please give us your attention for a few minutes to take you through some of the important health and safety information. Whilst here, please help us to prevent the spread of COVID-19 by following these simple steps. Upon arrival at the Durban ICC, you would have been screened for symptoms by way of a temperature check and a health questionnaire. Please remember to keep a safe distance of at least 1.5 meters from other people at all times. Wear a mask for the duration of the event when not eating or drinking. Avoid touching your face. Wash your hands for 20 seconds using soap and water as often as possible. If you can't wash your hands, use the hand sanitizer provided throughout the facility. If you are experiencing any of the COVID-19 symptoms, please contact one of our staff members who can assist you further. As the Durban ICC is a public space, please remember to keep your personal belongings safe and with you at all times. We have many bathrooms for your use around the venue. They are clearly marked in the foyer and concourse areas. The Durban ICC is a smoke-free building, but we do have clearly marked smoking zones outside the main entrance and opposite the concourse area. Please make use of these areas and the ashtrays provided when you smoke. In the event of a medical emergency, please dial the emergency number 031 360 1007 for assistance. The Durban ICC has developed a very simple emergency evacuation plan that everyone must be familiar with. Our staff are specially trained and will be there to assist you in following this plan. In the event of an evacuation, an announcement will be made to leave the venue. Please remain calm and walk swiftly to the nearest emergency exit in the concourse area. These exit doors are clearly marked. Security officers and the marshals will also help to direct you out of the building. Please do not use any lifts or escalators in the event of an emergency. Once outside, you will be directed to the nearest assembly point by the marshals for your safety. Please wait at the assembly point until the venue has been cleared and a marshal deems it safe for you to return to your seats. Thank you for your time and enjoy this event.
Join us at Africa's most prestigious Halal event, the KwaZulu-Natal Trade and Investment Indaba, focusing on the halal industry in partnership with World Halal Day from the 22nd to the 24th of March 2022 at the Durban International Convention Center, South Africa. The event focuses on networking of the highest quality investors worldwide to understand the fundamental and growth aspects of industries to be open for executing of the highest promising opportunities in business. The event includes a trade and investment conference, an exhibition, B2B engagements, sector-focused meetings, investors meet and excellence awards. The Indaba in KwaZulu-Natal provides a lever to draw potential investors to the province and to experience a first-hand interaction with the province and its offerings. This exclusive event expects international speakers, exhibitors from more than 35 countries worldwide, and many other virtual attendees. The KwaZulu-Natal event will pave the way for the halal industry and provide a gateway to the rest of the African continent.
Thank you very much. This event will take place for a period of 3 days, and we have delegates that are coming from the continent and others who are coming and joining us from other parts of the world. And thank you to technological advancements, we will be having other delegates joining us, as well as the speakers who will be joining us virtually. So it will be a hybrid event. The main objective of this event is to promote halal investment and intra-Africa trade, but also want to showcase the KZN in the global halal products and service market and share the KZN economic recovery and transformation plan. It's important that we share our ideas and our aspirations as a province so that the investors who want to come and invest here, at least they know what our plans are so that we can work together. I must say that as this province, we've been hard at work just to reposition our economy, and in doing so, we had to rethink the status quo. And we made a resolve to build a social health and prosperity, looking beyond economic growth to collective well-being and environmental sustainability. We are looking forward to fruitful engagements and discussions that will take this province forward, but also to make sure that we are able to trade and invest not only in the continent, but also globally. I must also share with your good selves that we have exhibitors on the other side. They'll be showing case what we can offer. There will also be side events I'm advised that there is a GPS breakaway session that will be taking place at 11:15 and room 21 upstairs. So those who are willing to participate, please do, and make sure that you join those discussions. As we move forward with our program, I'm going to call upon the Chairman of United World Halal Development, Mr. Mohammed Jinnah, to address us. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace be with you, everyone. Good morning. I would like to join others to congratulating the organizer to host the 8th World Halal Day in the Durban city. Indeed, it's a great pleasure to be here to deliver the keynote speak. We are enjoying the great hospitality of South African and Durban city. Thank you very much for everyone who's supporting us to host the event after long years, for 2 years. Indeed, it's a great honor for us to position World Halal Day in Durban city. I would like to sincerely thank my gratitude to the entire management board, government authorities, MEC, Honorable Minister Ravi Pillai, and CEO Mr. Neville and his team members, Ila Gandhi, Madam Ila Gandhi, the respectful speakers, delegates, international exhibitors, fellow friends, and dear brothers and sisters. Today, the global halal economy has grown $6.3 trillion, and it's annually increasing 20 to 25% annual growth. With approximately 1.84 billion Muslims believe the halal food is their need, there is a huge demand growing year by year. During the pandemic, what we learned as the international authorities and agencies, there is a huge demand for food safety and food security product is available across the globe. There is a huge demand, and South Africa, especially with the Durban province, can tap the untapped market in the global. We have a great hope, and this post-event, we will be working with your delegation and the government authorities to bringing the right people to invest in South Africa, in particular to Durban. Also, we did a complete study on your product, and we are connected globally with all the exhibitors, distributors, and food traders across the globe. This is a unique platform what we are seeing today in Durban. This will bring into the global positioning for Durban product, Durban makes, also with the South African product. In terms of tourism, there is a great hope, and halal-friendly tourism we need to grow in the segment, where there are medical tourism. It's been very much untapped market in the region in Africa. And we are going to develop, after the post-event World Halal Day, world-friendly medical tourism into the region of Durban. There is a great hope and great opportunities, and we have been speaking to many hospital management, especially with Indian hospitals. They are showing interest to come forward to setting up, to help the industry in the Africa region. Today is a great challenge, people traveling to Dubai or European country for the medical needs. We have a complete facility in Durban, which makes halal-friendly destination in the future. That is what we are aiming for. Halal is no longer seen as a traditional, philosophical, and conservative matter. Although it's a set of Islamic principles that cannot be compromised. The element of creativity, innovations must be embedded into the mindset of the halal industry players. Thank you very much for giving such a wonderful opportunity. Before I end my speech, I would like to thank the organizer of TJ Kazrin, Mr. Neville and his management team, and all the committee members, officials, NGOs, agencies. Thank you very much. I hope we can continue our collaboration and friendship in the development of halal industry for the benefit of mankind, not only for Muslims. My special thanks to all the authorities who's giving us a platform today, hosting this event. And next 3 days, we are continuously engaging with the authorities, especially with the Russian delegations here. We are bringing delegation team to other parts of the world to make South African product to go global. Thank you once again, giving us a great opportunity to showcase what is halal is not only for Muslims, it's for the mankind. And we are very glad to announce the 7th country introducing food bank. Madam Ila Gandhi, respectable Ila Gandhi, will be our ambassador to start food bank in Durban city as an initial phase. This will be growing into the other cities in the coming months and years. And we are planting 10,000 trees in the European region, in the African region. That is also a part of social responsibility. The next 3 days, we are more engaging to the social responsibility aspects. Thank you once again. We look for have a fruitful discussion with all the delegation team. In Tamil, we say, Vaimai enapadavadu yadinil, yadondrum thime ilada sol. I came from Tamil, which is a long history about your country, South Africa, the beautiful country with the diversity of the different culture, faith, and language. Tamil is the oldest language, is a classical language in the world, and the book's transcript has been shown 3,000 years before, Thiruvalluvar. Speak truth and be honest and be responsible to the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. China, and thank you for your commitment to ensuring that we expand this industry in our continent. And as KZN, as I indicated earlier, we are open for business and we are not going to disappoint you. We will do our best and make sure that the people of this province, they participate in this industry. And one is educated now that this industry is for everyone. So no one will be left out. So let's ensure that we work together and we support these ideas that have been presented by Mr. China. Thank you very much, sir. Now we'll be moving to another speaker, Honorable Rafael Fatakov, the Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food from Tatarstan. He will be joining us from Tatarstan. He'll be virtually. So thanks to the technology. Over to you, Deputy Minister.
Thank you. Dear Mr. Mohamed Jinnah, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you on behalf of the Party Prime Minister, Minister of Agriculture and Food of the Republic of Tatarstan, Marat Azatovich Zabbarov, and on my own behalf. It is a great honor to be here online and represent the Republic of Tatarstan at the 8th World Halal Day in Durban. I would like that everyone for the excellent organization of the event. I was instructed by the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Agriculture and Food of the Republic of Tatarstan to take part in the ceremony of handing over the key to the World Halal Day of the Republic of Tatarstan. Today, Tatarstan is open the cooperation with the friendly countries in many areas. Investments in new industries exports and imports of products. Our republic is multinational. We all live in friendship and harmony. We are actively developing halal industry. We consider this a very promising and correct direction. In order to develop the halal directions, we annually take part in international halal exhibitions. For example, Gulf 22 in Dubai and the World Halal Summit 2021 in Istanbul. The previous 7 World Halal Day has proved a successful business platform of starting new contracts and presentation the economic opportunities and investment potential of the practical countries. In July 2021, we successfully held the 12th International Economic Summit, Russia Islamic World, Kazan Summit in Tatarstan. This year in Russia, in Tatarstan, on May 2021, we will hold the third Russian Islamic World, Kazan Summit, and the 100,000th anniversary of to take part on the important since today Islamic economics is an integral part of the global economy. The total volume of it's as about 20,090 trillion dollars by 2024 is shown increased to 3,007 trillion dollars. Strong ground is present in all areas. It's very important that during the pandemics and international instability, interaction with parts from Muslim states in the world of trade, economic and investment cooperation does not stop. This year, it is important to keep studying and using the positive experience of countries in the world of Islamic economics. Adjusting legalization to give legal status to Islamic financing instruments, improving the infrastructure to support Muslim startups, promoting cooperation between countries and developing the halal industry. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of my speech, I want to once again experience my deep gratitude to the organizations. Personally, to you, Mr. Mohammed, and with the participants successful and products work the implementation of new joint projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, for outlining your course of action in terms of growing your economy, but also the importance of halal meat in your country, and we really do appreciate. I think as part of the globe, it's always important that we also get experiences from other countries, but also be able to take the best and also share what we have, and we really appreciate the input that has been made by the Honorable Deputy Minister. I'm moving now to Megalin Management that will be represented by Mr. Ibrahim Patel, who's be talking about the positioning of KwaZulu-Natal within the global halal industry. Over to you, sir.
These days you have to find pockets to put masks in, wait for sanitizing to take place before we can start talking. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sani Bonani, good morning, Vanakkam. MEC Ravi Pillai, Councillor Ms. Pumzile, this is such a wonderful morning. Program Director, please permit me to recognize some very important people that have joined us. Mr. Solly Suleiman, President of the Minara Chamber of Commerce, Fauzia Pir, Vice President of the Minara Chamber of Commerce, Maulana Navlaki from Sanha, Hamza from NIHT, Mr. Imran Nurbai from Standard Bank, who have been supportive of the entire process and have been partners of this particular event. The journey to today started some time back in 2015 when we had a discussion with the provincial government, the KZN provincial government, on the potential of the halal economy, on the potential of positioning KZN within the global halal sphere. The most impressive thing about our provincial government and its various structures is that they are always willing to listen, and they are always willing to look at new ideas. And with this philosophy, they dove right in to understanding what the halal economy was. And today's event is but another step in this journey, which MEC is going to be quite an important and long journey for KZN. As Maulana pointed out, the term halal has certain connotations, but allow me to expand on that. Halal is a set of standards, guidelines, and parameters, not just for the manufacturing of food, but an entire encompassing lifestyle. And the halal economy is part of a broader economic system that is based on equity, justice, transparency, and accountability. And these facets come together within this sector to create what we are seeing today as this burgeoning economy, the figures quoted of $6 trillion US. But is the halal economy purely about the manufacture of food? While food is an important aspect, and the consumer of the halal food is no longer the Muslim consumer, but rather it is the consumer who is concerned about production, about ethical production, about sustainability, and about awareness. Halal gives the confidence that the production from farm to fork has a great deal of transparency and accountability within it. So you have the confidence of knowing that when you consume a particular item, that the ingredients, to the extent that the micro-ingredients are listed and you can understand, and does it satisfy your particular needs? So much so that the largest consumer of halal food products is now the American health-conscious consumer, who wants to understand what it is that he or she is consuming. So while food makes up this huge part of the halal ecosystem, countries like New Zealand, Brazil, Thailand were early adopters. Today, Brazil is the largest producer of halal chicken in the world. Thailand has been a massive producer. New Zealand is a phenomenal producer of halal red meat, so much so that it is seen as a strategic industry of the New Zealand government. Almost 70% of all red meat coming out of New Zealand is halal certified. But most of these countries had destined it for the traditional markets of halal consumers, which was in the Middle East and the Muslim countries. Today, they are expanding it. Today, they are finding it as a global consumer market, so much so that Brazil is now targeting China as its big market. Is KZN positioned for this? Yes, it is. We have both the geographical and structural advantage to be part of this ecosystem. The geographical positioning meaning that we are in the middle of the world. We are within the time zones of the East and the West, so we can do business with both sides of the world. Structurally, we have within the province the accreditation agencies who are world-class and world-renowned. We have manufacturers, we have experts within the industry, and we have the support of the government. It dovetails into the KZN provincial development, economic development strategy with the development of the various manufacturing hubs across the province. And we see it dovetails very easily into the agro-processing zones, into the fashion zones in the clothing industry where the KZN government is trying to revive the clothing industry. One would ask, why would we talk about clothing? Modest fashion now makes up $300 billion of value across the world, so much so that the traditional fashion houses in Milan and New York are starting to adapt towards the modest fashion. It gives one the confidence that this is becoming mainstream. It's no longer confined to a small section of the global humanity. Pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, even finance has become part and parcel of this halal ecosystem. In 2008 financial crisis, the World Bank and IMF studied the reason why Islamic financial houses were more resilient to the fallout than conventional business, conventional financial houses. IMF studied the inbuilt resilience and is now starting to suggest that conventional financial institutions start adopting the governance models that the Islamic financial institutions have had. MEC, Islamic finance is also a great enabler for economic development in our province, as it is based on equitable financing rather than just on the risk of the borrower. It suggests that it is fantastic for entrepreneurial development as well. So, as a strategy, we should be looking closer at this. And KZN is well positioned. We have the ability, we have the expertise within the province, and we have the structural efficiencies. What we need to understand is that we have competitors as well. There are a number of competitors across the globe that are starting to see the potential of it. Countries like Japan, the US, the UK, even Korea are starting to adopt and adapt themselves to the halal economy. How do we position ourselves within the context, MEC, is something that we need to start discussing. And you have the support of various players across the province that will continue supporting you in the process. MEC, allow me to acknowledge the phenomenal work that has been done by KZN Etia through TI KZN in supporting the Halal Initiative, both through the launch of the KZN Halal Initiative. People like Neville, people like Fatima Amra, Claude Pretorius, Claude Mudley, Donny Payton have always been part of the discussions that we have had to try and bring forward this particular strategy. I must also acknowledge the presence of Sishle Mkhize, who has been quite supportive of the process for many years and has been pushing us to get to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, let me wish you well in the deliberations over the next 3 days. You will have experts that will present to you the various facets and dive into the intricacies of the halal industry. And I wish you all well and great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patel. Now we know the position of the province when it comes to this industry. So the investors and all those that want to be part, the gates are open. Let's engage and grow the economy and be part of the future we desire. Now I'm going to call on stage the lady Ms. Phumzile Langeni, the Presidential Investment Envoy for South Africa. As Mr. Patel has indicated, she has been with us, and I do know that at some point when we were in Ghana, she was there with us. She's part of us, and we really do appreciate her presence here. She'll be talking about the need to economic stability in order to attract investment. Over to you, ma'am.
Your Excellency, MEC Robin Idu, members of the government of KZN, the HOD and our esteemed program director, Mr. Nkotwana, the DDG of the Department of Economic Development, Trade and Environment, Mr. Sihle Mkhize, eThekwini Municipality Councillor, Mr. Madlala, the Imam and other members of the Muslim faith, members and the President of the United World Halal Development, special guests, fellow members of the business fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. As a child born of this province, it is indeed a pleasure and an honor to be invited today to share with you how we continue to market South Africa as a premium investment destination in a highly competitive global world. Program Director, you will forgive me. I have added a very small component where I provide some sort of feedback on the road of investment success in South Africa. It is opportune that we are meeting today at this august gathering ahead of the 4th edition of the South African Investment Conference, which will be hosted by President Ramaphosa this Thursday, being the 24th of March. When the President set out what was considered at the time an audacious target to raise $100 billion of foreign and domestic investment, some felt it was not achievable, especially at the time. The reasons advanced were our anemic economic growth over a prolonged period of time, high rates of unemployment, a business environment that was to some extent considered to be unwelcoming to capital and investors, state-owned entities that had become a drain on the fiscus, as characterized by numerous bailouts, and importantly, the fiscal health of the South African sovereign. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come a long way from those times. Allow me to paraphrase the sage words of our late first democratic president, former President Mandela, who once said, "It seems impossible until it has been done." If I reflect on how far we have come, I do believe we're on the right track. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm equally pleased to report that efforts driven by various spheres of government, from national to provincial, as well as district investment agencies, have yielded fruit in ensuring that South Africa continues to be a favored investment destination. I am reminded of a similar event that was hosted by the Premier in 2018 ahead of the first South African Investment Conference, where I was presented with the book of all investment projects from this beautiful province of KZN. MEC, you will be delighted to know that a lot of these projects are already projects on the ground, ranging from the automotive sector, electronics, agro-processing, to name but a few. South Africa, in its first two conferences, which were held in 2018 and 2019, that were attended by over 1,500 delegates, secured investment commitments of over 600 billion rand. At the 2020 conference, which was a hybrid conference, amid the surge of the pandemic, yielded investment commitments of 110 billion rand. Of these investments, there's a total of 770 billion that has been committed to an economy, just 300 billion rand shy of the President's initial target of raising R1 trillion. I'm very happy to say almost 50% of this quantum, being over 300 billion rand, are projects that are already on the go, already work in progress, and I know of one that is set to be unveiled in KZN in May. Ladies and gentlemen, the task of mobilizing capital is never ending. As was said by Mr. Patel before me, competition for capital, which by its very nature is scarce, continues to be intense. This requires us to continuously up our game and ensure that we remain relevant, competitive, underpinned by a business-friendly environment. It is imperative that we effect the much-needed reforms that will drive investment and ultimately create sustainable employment. We should never underestimate the key ingredients that are required to ensure that we benefit from continuous and sustainable investments leading to boots on the ground. We need a strong regulatory environment, an agile and responsive state, safety and security, the easing of barriers to entry and the formation of businesses, the eradication of corruption, amongst a few. Allow me to share with you what the OECD report published in December 2021 outlines as some of the key priorities for South Africa. They do say we do need to remove barriers to competition and to lift regulatory restrictions. We must also reduce barriers to entrepreneurship. We need to continuously improve infrastructure to boost growth, raise the quality and equity in education, and in line with an evolving world, ensure that we are part of the green economy and the just transition. We have, as South Africans in our day-to-day lives, seen that the dial is moving in the right direction, especially in embedding these critical elements in our economy and society to help us address the fundamental challenges that we have as South Africa, but also to respond to the words of investors in business, who are the foundation of economic prosperity. When I look ahead, I look at the growth opportunities that lie on our doorstep, and the one that comes to mind is the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which came into being on the 1st of January 2021. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us as South Africa and African business to participate in the largest free trade area in the world today. This trade area, which includes 54 nations, will give any country and business access to a population of over 1.2 billion people, GDP of $3.1 trillion, and a nation that has what is craved elsewhere in the developed world, a youth dividend. This free trade area represents a significant opportunity for South African business to grow, and it also represents a unique opportunity for us to be seen as those who do drive and market halal products made in South Africa and being given to the world. Our challenge as Africa is to convert this economic rebirth that can drive investment, reduce poverty, accelerate our industrialization, and help us create a sustainable future for our young people. I do believe that as South Africa, as a province of KZN, and as Africa itself, we have the endowment, the positioning, and the will to change our fortunes, starting by increasing intra-Africa trade from its current low levels of 3% to over 10%, which is possible within a period of 5 years if we all participate in this amazing opportunity offered by the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. Given what I have witnessed, coupled with the desire and appetite for investment into Africa, which is at its peak, if one looks at significant infrastructure projects, be it from road, port, rail, that continue to connect various countries along strategic corridors, point not only to an opportunity for South African companies, but also for us as a continent. Ladies and gentlemen, it is occasions like today that remind us of the opportunities before us and the responsibilities we have to make our country and continent great. I congratulate the province of KZN, our host city today, eThekwini, for their continued commitment and focus in not only driving investment, but also ensuring that the benefits are enjoyed by the broader society. Councillor Madlala did speak of this and the importance of ensuring that it is not only a few who benefit, but it is all South Africans who stand to gain. It is my view, which I'm sure many of you already share, that KZN remains poised to lead a vibrant economy and society within South Africa and beyond her borders. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for the opportunity to be part of this occasion and importantly for allowing me to share with you the investment journey thus far.
Thank you, Ms. Langen. We had the news. We're on the right path, and we have been advised what we need to do. Unless we invest in infrastructure, unless we deal with the issues of corruption, and we deal with all the issues that have been raised that bring instability and hinder progress, we will go nowhere. But thank you very much, ma'am, for advising us on what to do. And coming from the higher office, we are going to oblige and we'll make sure that we do not disappoint. And I do hope that all the delegates that are here, they will be working with us as a province. This province is lucky. At least we can claim her. She's one of us, so there's no province will come and say she comes from their province. Thank you very much, ma'am. We really do appreciate. I'm going to call now Madame Ella Gandhi from KZN Food Ambassador. She will be giving us a message of support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Program Director, MEC, our guest, Mr. Gina, all dignitaries present, Deputy Mayor, and all the others present here. I want to say that a few years ago, when Mr. Gina approached me to support this initiative, I said to him, I'm a vegetarian, and I'm not sure what am I supporting. So he explained to me that halal is much bigger than just, meat. There is a lot of other things that is included in this halal economy. This morning we've heard from various speakers what it is, and I did some research myself to understand what it is that I'm going to be supporting. And what I found is three very important things. The first one is that, nutrition is basic to our lives, and we have understood this very well in the last year when COVID hit us, that nutritious food and building your own resistance to all these viruses is the most important thing. Yes, vaccination and other things do help us, but when you have good nutrition, you know that you are going to be able to resist all these illnesses that we face. So that's the first point. And halal actually ensures that whatever we are eating, including vegetables, including medicines and so on, are actually nutritious and good for the health of the individual. So that was the one thing that I really felt happy to be supporting. The second thing is that there is social responsibility in the whole of the halal industry. It's one of the pillars of the industry. I'm not an expert, maybe I'm wrong, but this is what my research has shown, that social responsibility is a very big thing. And when we look at, for instance, the gift of the givers and the work that they are able to do, not only in South Africa, but throughout the world, and you see that that is only possible because of the social responsibility. And social responsibility is across the board. It's not just industry that has social responsibility. It's on every individual, whether you're a professional, whether you're in government, or whether you're just a citizen. It's all our responsibility to ensure that other people are also getting the benefit of whatever it is that we are able to produce or able to earn. So that social responsibility is a huge thing. And today, as we see poverty in our country, throughout the world, we see a lot of poverty, and that poverty can be eradicated if every individual takes on that social responsibility. And so it is this pillar that I am also supporting, that aspect of social responsibility. The third point is the whole question of equity that Mr. Jina spoke about, and Mr. Patel also spoke about it, that equity is an important part of this industry. And when we talk about equity, we are talking about the right of every individual to have access to the basic necessities of life. Food is one of those things, but good education, good health care. I think Mr. Jina spoke about the value of health care. And that is so important for people to have access to good health care. And so that equity, for me, is another pillar of this halal industry. And so if I were to say that these are the three pillars that has induced me to support this initiative, I would be saying that that is what we need to do in order to achieve a better world for everyone. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I hope that this industry will grow from strength to strength and take those messages forward. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for the words of wisdom, Madam Elakandi. We always learn from the elders. We have to take responsibility, and indeed, I do agree, it is in our hands. We must make it work, but also ensure that everyone become part of this big initiative. Let no one be left behind. It is in our hands. Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Gandhi. We really appreciate those words, and we will action them, and we'll make sure that as we institutionalize the industry in our province, but also ensuring that when we trade with the world, we talk about halal industry so that everyone will embrace it. Now, I'm going to call my colleague, my host, the CEO of TKZN, Mr. Neville Machi, to introduce Honorable MC. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, HOD. I will say a few words before I introduce Honorable MEC. MEC Ravi Pillay, MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, the Chairperson of the Board of Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal, who is joining us online, Ms. Ina Krunier, Her Excellency Ms. Langeni, Presidential Envoy, and a very good friend to KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Councillor Madlala, eThekwini Municipality, a member of the Executive Committee, and also representing the Mayor. Honorable Rafael Fatakov, Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Republic of Tatarstan. Mr. Ibrahim Patel, I'll put another hat on you, Honorary Consul for Indonesia. President of Minara Chamber, Mr. Solly Suleiman. Esteemed Ms. Fauzia Pia, thank you for joining us, and also Deputy President of Minara Chamber. Esteemed Ms. Ella Gandhi, thank you for the message of support, and I was quite inspired in my meeting with you the other day, granddaughter of the great Mahatma Gandhi. Partners for this event, Sanha, so Mulana Navlaki, who's with us, also the NIHT representatives, Standard Bank, I've seen also FNB, I think I saw him here earlier, business people that have logged onto this platform, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. We are evolving in difficult times whereby all have stories to tell, especially during this COVID-19 period. It has affected our lives, our livelihoods in ways that one cannot imagine. With the extended socio-economic impact on employment, on increased poverty and increased inequality because of this pandemic, we've had to look at new strategies and to look at our lives as the new normal. The pandemic has collapsed global economies and activities in key markets, distorted global and regional as well as domestic value chains, and constricted cash flows for local businesses. In fact, the challenges emanating from COVID-19 pandemic and the devastating impacts on our domestic economic performance are well documented and cannot be exclusively covered in such a conference. KwaZulu-Natal is an economic jewel whose overall potential remains largely untapped. Its natural resources, strategic location as a gateway not only to the SADC region, but also to the global markets, is what will be showcased during this event. A global market based on the needs and preferences that is estimated to over 1.8 billion Muslims worldwide has emerged as a powerful commercial area. This creates opportunities for entrepreneurs, especially in developing markets such as ours. This multi-trillion US dollar market for the halal sector is an important component of that. This sector is increasingly attracting the attention of policymakers and the private sector as a sector with increased growth potential. For TIKZN, under the leadership of our MEC, the halal food sector offers a new horizon of opportunity to build the capacity, particularly of our SMMEs, to diversify and gain a competitive edge in the sector, helping them to recognize, enter, and move up the halal sector value chain and strengthen their trade and investment support through the initiatives of our provincial government, and realizing them to grow is an important component of that. The SMMEs will play a critical role in our economy by fueling growth, increasing the demand for labor, and generally increasing the standards of living. It is estimated, ladies and gentlemen, that there are over 500 million Muslims within the African continent, and taking advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, we seek to tap into that market. As KwaZulu-Natal, we put together an export strategy for the continent in line with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, and we segmented the products to also include halal products that can be exported from KwaZulu-Natal into the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, our MEC, Honorable Mr. Ravi Pillay, a visible supporter for business, a visible supporter for growth and development, and a firm committed individual who has really played a remarkable role. He is a South African attorney, a member of the ruling party, the African National Congress, a politician. In fact, we don't even like calling him a politician because he's more business-minded. But he is a politician who has been a member of the Executive Council for Tourism, Environmental Affairs, Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. He has practiced law for many years. His professional life was, however, part-time. His preoccupation was always social activism and political activism. He has risen through the ranks, was initially MEC for Human Settlements and Public Works, then moved on to become MEC for Finance, then joined this economic development portfolio, which encompasses tourism as well as environmental affairs. He is a dedicated, disciplined, and exemplary politician, and he has led us and encouraged us to always think not outside the box, but think with no box in front of us, to be creative on how we develop our economy and engender trade and investment within the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our Honorable MEC, MEC Ravi Pillay. Please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you very much, Neville, for that generous introduction. Program Director, Mr. Nkontwana, who's also the head of department. The Deputy Minister of Tajikistan, who joined us and gave us an inspiring message from afar. And I understand there are two other delegates from Tajikistan present here today. We eventually agreed that the one lady we'll call her Kate rather than to have my tongue twisted. Oh, there she is there. If you can just wave for everyone to see you there. We also agreed that coming from the autonomous state of Tajikistan within the Russian Federation, that we won't ask any difficult questions until the third day of the conference is over. But it's inspiring to have a delegation from afar. Of course, the other very significant matter is that we'll be handing over the baton for the next Halal Day to Tajikistan for them to host it, and we are very, very delighted to be able to do that. Mr. Mohammed Jinnah, the Chairman of United World Halal Development, Sis Phumzile Langeni, our Presidential Envoy, Mama Ila Gandhi, who remains a mother figure to all of us in KwaZulu-Natal, Councillor Majlala, representing the Mayor of eThekwini. eThekwini is a very big municipality relative to, in fact, I'm not sure what's the latest figures, Phumzile, but I think it's between 55 to 60% of the economy of KZN is located in eThekwini. So that gives it a very, very significant relative size. Mr. Ibrahim Patel, Mr. Solly Suleiman, and Fawzia Pir from the Minara Chamber, our religious leaders who gave us their blessings earlier, representatives of the National Independent Halal Trust, members of the media, virtual attendees, ladies and gentlemen, and friends. Good day, good morning, assalamu alaikum, sanbonani nonke. Earlier this morning, at 7:30, we started off with a breakfast session with the representatives of the BPO sector, that's the business outsourcing, or what we normally call the call center industry, who it's a delegation from the United Kingdom, from the United States, and one other country that slips my mind now. But they were here because they were investigating the possibility of investing in this very, very fast-growing sector. In fact, in the last 3 years or 4 years, we've created almost 12,000 new jobs in that sector here, and there's actually a possibility to take it to 50,000 in a very rapid way. Largely because it's a beautiful place, but also because our young people are displaying a particular talent in their linguistic skills and the empathy that they have to deal with the call center industry. You all have experienced, I'm sure, making a call to a call center to deal with a problem and the frustrations that you have, and it depends on the skill of the person on the other side. So this is a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide, a very competitive one as well. I'm starting off with this because it's another example of what Ms. Langeni was saying about the many, many positive vibes taking place. No longer just green shoots, actually. I think they're maturing very, very, very fast. And that KZN is indeed open for business. A lot of that market is in the United States, and clients are actually coming over, and we are proving to be very, very competitive. In fact, KwaZulu-Natal just last year in a study for 2021 was declared to be the place with the best potential for this sector growth in the world. Now, so that's the kind of place you are coming to. But I also want to use the opportunity to say that we understand that opportunity cannot be taken for granted. It has to be sought, it has to be nurtured, it has to be sustained. And the world is a very, very competitive place. Not just in our own country, where we compete with other provinces, but the world at large. You know, India, the Philippines, and other parts of the world are great competitors in this particular sector. But the fact that we have arrived in such a big way is a message that I want to give to you, that we are ready and able to do it, and we are ready and able to compete. Let me also start by giving you very warm greetings and welcome, not just from myself, but also from our Premier, Mr. Sihle Zikalala, and the provincial government as a whole. This effort is not something that is done in isolation. It is part of a collective plan. It is part of the program of the provincial government as a whole. And I'll say a bit more, hopefully, if I don't get distracted a little later. Let me also acknowledge Mr. Mohammed Jinnah, and thank you for your partnership and for this World Halal Day program. And let me also congratulate the very patriotic and energetic citizens of KZN, Mr. Ibrahim Patel and Mrs. Solly Suleiman of the Minara Chamber, for their initiative, as he explained. This was not something that was just thought of a week ago and it's happening. It had its genesis 2015, I think you said, and that resulted in a response from the provincial government, a feasibility study. So this is not just, some harebrained scheme. It's been studied comprehensively to say there is a potential, and the fact that you are here in your numbers from all parts of the country and the world is indicative that that feasibility study was correct. We also think that the timing could not be better. I think the world thinks we're beating COVID-19. But Pumzila, you can tell the president that everyone asks me, when do you think we're going to lift I don't know why they say lockdown, because we don't have a lockdown. We still have a disaster that's declared. We are on level 1. The levels of relaxation of all the tough conditions are relaxed. So there are a few niggling issues. But the point is, I think we are at a time when we believe, and there's a confidence that we have, if not defeated, we're managing COVID-19 well, and we're able to go back to a path of economic growth. So the theme of this conference, World Halal Day, spells out the potential for this multi-trillion-dollar industry to be part of this plan for rejuvenation of our economy. I'm not going to repeat much of what the others say, but as our program director keeps saying, it's educative. I think South Africans, we sometimes do not appreciate enough how the isolation of the apartheid years kept us disconnected from the world, and that we need to have more and more opportunities to interact with all parts of the world, if I may be very clear about that. So when we have opportunities, we research and we learn. And I learned that the term halal comes from the Arabic words, namely halla, yahilu, hilan, wa halan, which means allowed or permissible by the Sharia law. So according to Sharia law, every Muslim must ensure whatever they consume comes from a halal source, and the halal sector covers products and services encompassing all business operations. And I think many speakers have been at pains to explain that value, that particular value chain. And again, it's something we perhaps will come back to. Within the global sphere, the prospect of the halal economy is huge, and we need to keep drumming this into a wide sector of society. And that global consumption of halal goods and services is expected to grow at 3.5% annually, driven by the fast-growing Muslim population all over the world. Although the point was made that the sharp end of this focus is not so much the established Muslim countries, but the growing Muslim populations in non-Muslim countries. So we've got to understand the nuances of that particular market. I think Ibrahim has spoken quite strongly on ethical consumerism and the increasingly sophisticated society we live in that asks these questions in relation to ethics, in relation to the environment. So all of these come together when we are looking at this particular sector. Let me repeat, because it's important. It's not maybe not important. It's important for both you and for our society out there. It's a message that has been made, but I want to repeat it because this is my understanding, and this is the message that I will take out to the society of KwaZulu-Natal. And it's a very simple message that you do not have to be Muslim to consume halal products, and more importantly, from an economic development point of view, you do not have to be Muslim to produce halal products. What it does mean is that we need to learn what it needs, what it takes to make products qualify to be halal. And we need to be able to learn to do that and comply with it and be part of that economic activity. Let me say also to the investors and delegates that we live in a constitutional state. It's a vibrant constitutional state where we have very vibrant political debates. But that's the essence of a democratic society, and we're very, very proud of that. We will very, very jealously protect that, and we're able to have the kind of free political activity that's And we must not take it for granted because many of the parts of the world don't have it. But we think it's part of our strength, and we'd like you to understand and be part of that. So from time to time, you will hear debates that might sound a bit noisy, but we think it's an inherent part of our strength as a constitutional state. One of the things that our president has been calling upon us to do, and we have engaged on it now for a couple of years, is building a strong social compact. Because of our history, we've been a divided society. And this social compact tells us to bring all sectors together in order to work towards implementing a common plan. And so in KwaZulu-Natal, we've been hard at work on that score. And at the level of the Economic Council, we bring together our business, our labor, our civil society, and government to say, how do we together work and take our province forward as part of the national plan? As part of this work, we've developed what is called an Economic Recovery, Reconstruction, and Transformation Plan. It's under the overarching National Economic Recovery Plan. And this plan says that we must celebrate and appreciate the fact that we are a diverse economy. We're not like some countries in the world that relies on a single product. We're a diverse economy, and that's a strength that we must be able to build upon. So whether it's agriculture or tourism or the oceans economy or logistics and transport or infrastructure or the informal sector, I think worldwide it's being recognized that the informal sector is a creator of a very, very high percentage of jobs. But the point is, across these 14 sectors, we say, we respond to your needs in a customized way. We don't say, okay, we've got a budget and we're going to largely have a spray and pray approach. We're going to have a targeted approach. And this effort, this initiative around the Halal World Day and the halal market is very much part of that targeted, focused approach to say, these are where the opportunities are, let's invest in it, and we're more likely to receive sustainable returns. Of course, underpinning these 14 sectors from the transformative imperative that we have is what we call the township and rural economy. That is a sector that we can't leave out. That is a sector that must underpin, must be very much part, that is critical to creating a sense of ownership of the economy by the people as a whole, and talks to the message that the program director says, let's not leave anyone behind. That's a fundamental thing that must be internalized and find expression in everything that we do. In that way, it will be sustainable and ultimately successful. There are many other examples of projects, as Ms. Langeni has been saying, has already been implemented in part of this economic recovery and part of the 1 trillion rand investment plan by the President. Another one that's quite forthcoming is the Transnet 100 billion rand Durban port expansion. That's the Durban Harbour. It's linked to the Richards Bay Harbour. There'll be a reorganization to a certain degree of the Durban Harbour in terms of moving certain functions. But that's to enhance the efficiencies of the Durban Harbour. There'll be what is called a back-of-port major operation that will create linkages and take significant activity to the old Durban airport site. There will be a decentralization of the container activity, with it being a significant part remaining at the harbour, a significant part at the old Durban airport site, another significant portion at the Durban trade port that's near King Shaka Airport, and then a very significant portion at K2 Ridge. So that decentralized containerization approach with new rail and road linkages will contribute tremendously to modernizing and creating better efficiencies at the Durban Harbour. But Durban and Richards Bay, of course, remain critical, and the movement of the petroleum sector to Richards Bay, or significant parts of it, will be part of that plan. I think you all know about the tremendous pressure on Richards Bay at the moment because the demand for coal is so high and the price of coal has tripled. So there's pressure on our railway lines to get that out. But that's a good problem to have at this point in time. Of course, this is also in the context of multi-billion rand investments by Toyota, by SAPI, by a company called Wilmar from Singapore, building a palm oil refinery in Richards Bay. Tetra Pak, a packaging company that's rolling out a 500 million rand expansion, and I can roll out and call out many more. And all of these are examples of confidence in the KwaZulu-Natal economy, which we want to consolidate and really, really grow. Mention has been made of the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, and we saw that potential in action in late last year, November, when we had the Intra-Africa Trade Fair here in this very venue at the ICC. Now, the Intra-Africa Trade Fair is something that's hosted by Afrixim Bank in partnership with the African Union and the ACFTA Secretariat. It helps once every 2 years, and the first one was held in Cairo, I think in 2018. Last year's one was supposed to have been in Rwanda. But Rwanda, because of COVID and other reasons, could not host it. And they approached us as the KwaZulu-Natal government and the Premier in particular to say, could we come to their rescue? And the Premier, because of this strong belief and energy, said, yes, we would. And in 4 months, we were able to put together what normally takes 2 years and had a very successful intra-Africa trade fair here, where over 126 countries were represented generally in combination, virtually and physically. 40 African countries were represented here physically. 6 heads of state attended over a period of 5 to 7 days, actually, in total. Now, that opened our eyes, really, to the full potential of the African continental agenda, of our continental's agenda. In fact, we mustn't speak about Africa as it's somehow separate from us. We are part of the African continental agenda. Today, we find a situation, from Zila, you can tell the President this, that we have, of course, we've done our work in having meetings with the entire diplomatic corps, constantly briefing them and so on. But today we have those countries coming to us, chasing us as a province directly to come. And in fact, in 6 weeks' time, the Premier will be leading a delegation to the DRC at their request because of the exposure that has happened through this IETF. So the possibilities of multiplying production here enables that market in the greater African continent to be exploited as well, apart from the other worldwide markets that you have in mind. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that we are extremely excited. I'm not going to repeat all the statistics that you've already given. It's quite clear that this is a significant sector. It's part of the world economy, and it's our duty and an opportunity to engage and get the mutual benefit for our people and for the rest of the world's community. Thank you very much for listening, and all the best for some successful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Thank you for those wise words, for the direction that you have given us, that also the province is working very hard to ensuring that there's ease of doing business, but also our focus as a province, that we have sectors of the economy that we've identified to make sure that we drive the economic growth But lastly, the importance of intra-Africa trade to make sure that we interact but also invest not only locally but in other parts of the continent and make sure that we grow the continent because it is a growing continent and it is a future continent that will be leading, and that's our belief. I will be then now calling upon CEO Mr. Maki, who will be coming forward to present the token of appreciation to the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, HOD. I'm going to request MEC to please come up again. Right, we'll be presenting gifts to the following. Can we request Mr. Mohammed Jinnah? Can we have a round of applause, please? On behalf of Honorable Minister Fatakov, Ekaterina Kamolova, if you can please come up and receive the gift for the Deputy Minister. Please give a big round of applause. All the gifts that are contained in the pack are all produced from KwaZulu-Natal. Can I request Mr. Ibrahim Patel? And then Her Excellency Ms. Langeni. And then for Madame Ella Gandhi. MEC says she's extra special, so got 2. Okay, thank you. And then one that will be presented by Mr. Mohammed Jinnah. Thank you. Ekaterina, if you can please come up. One more for the Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC and Mr. China and Mr. Maki. This province is a progressive province. So I wish next time I'll be part of those that will be receiving when I present. So I thank you very much for that. And let me thank the speakers. They did a good job, and I think we need to give them a round of applause. Before we move to the last item, firstly, let me indicate that the vote of thanks will be given by DDG Mr. Sihlem Kize, who will be replacing Ms. Ina Kronje. He's my colleague, and he's a man who's carrying this engine in the office. And I'll be handing over to him to thank us for what we've been doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Program Director. In the interest of time, allow me to stand on the existing protocol in terms of the greetings and the recognizing of important dignitaries in the room here. Let me start by really appreciating that finally we are having this conference after quite a number of postponements. We were supposed to have this conference in 2020, but due to COVID pandemic, we had to postpone it. We were hell-bent in saying it's going to be important that this conference is held physically, because we wanted to make sure that we interact with each other, and also we have exhibitors showcasing their products and services with us. Inshallah, the conference is happening today. Let me thank Mr. Miraz for the moving opening prayer you delivered this morning. You truly connected us with the higher powers. We thank you, Maulana. Let me thank Councillor Madlala, Uhlokohloko Usishi, from eThekwini Metro for welcoming us to this beautiful province and the city, and also for assuring the safety of the delegates during their stay in the city. We really feel welcome. I would like to thank Mr. Mohammed Jina, who is the chair of the World Halal Development, who trusted us as this beautiful province to host the World Halal Day, and also for being patient with us in the light of all the delays that have taken place. We thank you for this excellent conference and for properly contextualizing the World Halal Day and the industry and what opportunities we can derive from this industry. I also wish to thank you for confirming that our relationship and partnership is not ending with the hosting of this conference, but it's moving beyond that. I think that is the message you delivered to the Honorable Premier when we met with you in Singapore with him, where he asked you if beyond this conference, what will be the nature of relationship. We are really pleased that you've actually confirmed that. Let me extend our gratitude to the Honorable Rafael Fatakov, who's the Deputy Minister for Agriculture and Food in Tatarstan. We thank you for the speech you delivered this morning, and we are pleased to be handing over the baton to you for hosting the next World Halal Day. Let me thank Mr. Ibrahim Patel. I recall very vividly one Sunday afternoon, it was a holiday, a Women's Day in 2017, where you requested the Premier, Advisor Ngiti, the CEO of Trade and Investment KZN, and I, where basically you convened us to give us a tongue lashing as to why we are not moving with speed in terms of grabbing the opportunities in the halal industry. And I think through your connections and your networks, we've been able to connect with quite a number of institutions, both locally and internationally. And also we were also able to connect with Mr. Gina through your contacts. Thank you very much, and also for your input this morning. Ms. Phumzile Langeni, when we learned of your appointment as an investment envoy for the country, we were so excited because we knew that over and above representing the country, but you will always have interest of KZN in heart. I'm saying that, Honorable MEC, because before her appointment, Ms. Langeni was assisting us in terms of coming up with the strategy of supporting industrial hubs in the province as a strategy of attracting investments. And I think the number of investments that we have subsequently signed and attracted to the province, it's also partly due to her hard work and also her support to the province. Thank you very much, Ms. Langeni, also for the speech that you delivered. Let me thank Madam Gandhi for delivering a message of support. We appreciate it, and also for gracing us with your presence today. Sibonga kakhulu. I wish to thank the Honorable MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs for your energetic leadership and also your guidance and commitment to support this industry is appreciated. I know that after this conference, you will be pushing us to implement the resolutions of this conference. I'm just crossing my fingers that the first briefing meeting on the progress report is not going to happen after 9 p.m., at least before that. Let me thank the CEO of Trade and Investment KZN, Mr. Neville Maki, for leading the technical team organizing this conference. It's been a very long walk to where we are. We also thank you for making sure that you also facilitated training for the core team in the province on the halal industry so that they understand the opportunities, they understand about the industry deeply. We spent the whole week receiving training in this concept, and also for leading a technical visit to the world-leading halal countries to learn from them, and also to start making sure that we foster the ties and relationship with them. Thank you very much for that. Let me thank the program director, who is also the HOD for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Mr. Nkondwane, for steering the program in the most competent manner. I think you were able to assist us to stick to time, and for guiding the program and for properly contextualizing all the inputs that have been provided. Thank you very much, Program Director. Let's thank the members of the media for covering the events and for this event, and also ensuring that it is broadcasted throughout the world. Already we are receiving congratulatory messages from various people due to your coverage of this event. We thank our esteemed exhibitors for supporting the event and also for agreeing to showcase your products and services. We appreciate that. Let's thank all the organizers of this prestigious event, people who are working behind the scenes, the TIKZN team, ATIA team, led by Mr. Sihlengamo. We really appreciate the work that we have done. Lastly, but not least, let's thank all the participants, ladies and gentlemen. We thank each and every one of you for setting aside time from your busy schedules to be with us today. Your presence here has made sure that this conference is a success. Let me conclude by saying Salam wa alaikum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kawazela. Thank you. Thank you for those, for the vote of thanks. I think my task is done now. Safe to say, one has to make an announcement in terms of what will be following after this session. The session will still be here. There will be a panel discussion on global halal future trends, which will be moderated by the CEO of TKZN, my colleague, Mr. Neville Maki. Will be featuring Professor Dr. Farida Haji Hassan and Ms. Nusrat Munir, Mr. Soli Saluman, and Mr. Nizam Kala. And I hope that we'll all be here to listen from those people who will be giving us details about this industry. We'll be taking a break for 15 minutes, then we'll come back and listen to the panelists. Thank you very much. We have been very exceptional audience. I really do appreciate for being given this opportunity as your program director this morning. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, just some housekeeping issues. For all media who would like to participate in the food bank launch, it will take place in room 12B, 12AB. That's out of the doors to your left. Walk towards the exhibition center. It will be on your right for all media. I'd also like to reiterate, the next session will start in 15 minutes. Global Halal Future Trends. For any out-of-town delegates, international delegates, and delegates from out of KZN, please remember to book or sign up for your site visits tomorrow and the visits to the Gandhi settlement or the Mandela Capture site on Thursday. Please remember to sign up at the registration desk. It's clearly marked. Thank you.
Not link.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
It is
joining.
connected on the phone. Yes, yes, yes. No, we didn't link it. We only link these two videos.
Do you have a mic here that I can announce for people to come back in?
There is a mic there.
Where?
Outside there. At the foyer. Wait,
If you can tell me, the mic, the gentleman.
Okay.
You know what? Listen. Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please come into the auditorium? We're ready to start. Ladies and gentlemen, the panel discussion, Investing in the Halal Sector, is about to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We are going to start our session. My name is Neville Maiki. I'm the CEO of Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal. I'll be facilitating our following session. We're having 4 panelists. The first 2 are physical, and then the other 2 are virtual. And in this day and age of technology, we'll then be embracing our technology in that respect. I would like to invite my panelists to please come up onto the stage. Those that are physical here, Ms. Nurat Murir, Director Regionis from Mauritius. Thank you very much for joining us, and her focus will be on tourism. Mr. Solly Suleiman, Chairman of Minara Chamber of Commerce, and also in the medical fraternity, Mr. Suleiman, if you can please join us. And then we've got 2 esteemed delegates who are online. Professor Hassan, from the Vice President of World Academy of Islamic Management from Malaysia, as well as Mr. Nizam Kala, CEO of AMCA, South Africa Beauty and Cosmetics. He'll be joining us virtually. So please give them a big round of applause. Thank you. I think just before we start the session, I just want to say a few words. If my device can respond. This morning we're going to be talking, actually now this afternoon, we're going to be talking about the global halal futures trends. As the global landscape of trade continues to evolve, we are now seeing different patterns in terms of the halal trade is concerned, and looking at the halal trade market as it appears from a commercial paradigm. Our delegates this morning will be focusing on aspects related to that. As indicated in the statistics presented earlier, this sector is an important sector with an estimated 1.8 billion Muslims worldwide, and has emerged as a powerful sector which many countries are focusing on its further development in the creation of jobs and opportunities. Just in the food sector, over $100 trillion in terms of market share, but of course it's a multi-trillion-dollar sector. The halal sector, as mentioned, is not just about food. It also includes the medication that we take. It includes the fashion. It includes cosmetics. It includes a whole range of products that are produced into the value chain of the halal sector. As part of this program, as KwaZulu-Natal, we have been working closely with our partners to look at the emphasis on from farm to fork compliance, there being many possibilities to link SMMEs into this value chain. SMEs play a critical role in all economies by fueling growth, increasing the demand for labor, and generally rising standards. It is estimated that SMEs alone create normally the whole range of jobs, but the target that has been set is that the SME sector needs to create at least 500 million jobs by 2035. This conference is not intended to define descriptions of halal from a religious perspective. It is intended to enable the delegates to make informed decisions with regard to the evolving market paradigm, whether from the perspective of government policy making or from a commercial strategy. For many delegates, it may raise many questions, but we have all the experts here to give the answers. Given the continued expansion of the halal market, both in size and complexities, and with its crossover potential into mainstream and other eco-ethical markets, there's a significant window of opportunity. We can make a value contribution to the growth of our economy by developing expertise within this sector, and in partnership with the accreditation agencies, making sure that the ethical principles of the generation, manufacturing, and development of halal products remain key. Today, we need to ensure that the spread of message in respect of the sector is all-encompassing and well understood by those that are not in the sector. And part of this panel is really to educate our audience in that regard. Our first panel speaker, we're going to request Professor Hassan, Vice President of World Academy of Islamic Management from Malaysia. He will address us for about 5 minutes. First of all, he'll tell us who he is, which industry he's representing, then he'll deliver his message. I will do the same with every single one of my delegates, and then I will then do a question and answer at the end. Professor Hassan.
Assalamualaikum. Can I begin now?
Yes, we can hear you, Prof. Please address us.
All right. Thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Honorable MC, for the day. A very good day to everyone, and a very good evening from Malaysia. I am Farida. Or if you have difficulties in remembering me, then you can call me Florida. Okay? So Farida, Florida is about the same. Anyway, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you. And this afternoon, or in Durban, I've been given a topic to present, which is on Islamic tourism. But before that, if I'm not mistaken, Honorable MC, the time now is 6:35. The earlier timing given was until 7:30. I assume each one of us are given about 10 to 15 minutes to present. Am I correct?
Yeah, we had given an allocation of about 5 minutes per delegate. And then thereafter we'll go into a debate.
Okay, 5 minutes to present.
Yes.
Okay,
we can stretch it a little bit more, but ideally we'd like to have a conversation with you.
All right, so I'll try to make it short and snappy. So bear with me. I'm going to bring you all to a rocket flight now. Okay, my title would be on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on global halal tourism sector and option for its recovery. This paper was actually done between me and my colleagues. I'm currently working with University Technology Mara, as you can see over here, and as you can see at the back there is logo of my university. Now, if you have any problems, do contact me via the email or the mobile phone that I've arranged, that I've given over here. Let me put this on slide mode. I hope it's kind of, yeah, great. Now, thank you to KwaZulu-Natal Province Trade and Investment, as well as UWHT, Brother Gina. This is the overview of what I'm going to present to all of you, and I will just go straight to some of a summary of it. The research objective is to look at the key purpose of this, to provide the illustration of impact of COVID-19 on halal tourism. The research method done is actually qualitative research. The findings not only to look into the rudimentary needs, halal food, non-alcohol, but also into the perception of the customers, okay, or both Muslims and non-Muslim who appreciate on Muslim-friendly traveling. And with that, I think I'll go through the details of the paper. Right. The objectives of the study is actually to look into the impact of halal tourism, and the changes in travel due to COVID-19 really affect the population, Muslim population, about 1.8 billion people. And there should be preparations as international borders gradually open. In Malaysia, the authorities are opening up in April the 1st. So welcome back to Malaysia to all my friends all over the world. Now, some introduction. Islam encourages to educate to seek a better life when you travel. We call it hijrah, and there are also Islamic religious rituals such as Haji or Umrah in the holy city that is compulsory if you can afford to travel. And there are also some traveling that requires you to travel. For example, like what Brother Gina mentioned earlier in the keynote speech, to cure from illnesses as well as tourism and employment. So part of it is medical tourism. So one of it is based on 5 central pillars, which is known as Hajj or pilgrimage. And other than that, that will be in the Saudi Arabia. And other than that, we are looking into how travel is intensely entrenched in the Islamic Sharia principles. These are the verses in the Quran. I'm just going to show you. You can read it whenever you have the time. It's all stated there. So there's more reason that it's a conviction for the Muslims to travel, and there are good reasons for that. Now, there's also a conference which was conducted in 2021, the new norm of the Muslim travelers. So you can revisit this to look into the addresses of what destinations and businesses that can be prioritized, okay, in the new norm. And these are some of the literature review that we have collected, that these are all evidences of the research done that convince further that more research are required to make sure whatever we confess, we have enough evidence on it. Okay, the first one, which was done by Tafazwa Matiza, to provide the insights of pandemic influences on tourist behavior. They look into the perceived risks and short-term measures to mitigate the effects. And other than that, they're looking into how consistently reflective to recognize and respond to changes, because you have to act very fast in that. So there are a lot of unprecedented socio-economic effects on tourism, and the importance of mitigating is very important during the risk-taking time. The second paper, which that was conducted, investigate the different effects of coronavirus in the global halal tourism. And halal tourism can be divided into 2 categories, one religious and the other one would be other halal hospitality activities such as medical tourism or heritage tourism or even leisure tourism. So other than that, we are looking into how the coronavirus on halal tourism and halal hospitality in general terms can be defined further. And there has been suspension of inbound and outbound flights led to many direct and indirect losses. So other than that, we are looking into many Muslims perceiving the complete lockdown as a punishment. But however, halal hospitality is here to stay regardless of the coronavirus, and government would also need to understand the changes in the consumers' behavior, not only in the local tourism, domestic tourism, but also global changes due to the virus. And the third study, which was done in Latin America, looks into various areas such as protection of workers, support for business survival, facilitation of short-term recovery, and medium-term of sustainable and resilience. And with the current gig economy, there is a need of more preparation on how to be prepared towards it. And we need a lot of cooperation amongst national and international tourism organizations, relevant stakeholders in health, transport, and many others. Yeah. So finally, you look into the literature review of how the characters and flexibility arrangements that tourism workers have been of late and able to them to have a work-life balance, and government in the region, whether in each continent, like for example in Africa itself, to look into exercising the regional cooperation, as well as digital solutions need to be promoted that limit physical contact as borders and protect the health workers. So what I'm trying to say over here is that similarly to food business, there's cloud kitchen and a lot of services online. So there should be the same in the tourism industry. More studies on COVID-19 impact on tourism. I would like you to read all these. There are many studies of late which are still conceptual because COVID is still on for the last 2 years. Okay, now we got Omicron or whatever you call it, a virus, flu virus, and many other viruses. So a lot of studies need to identify how serious it is. So these are the other aspects that you need to understand the whole conceptual item in the tourism, whereby we have halal traveling, to halal tourism, to halal hospitality, to emphasize on sustainability. And so these are some of the findings. As you can see in this part of the region, in Africa, of late there are a lot of in order to get back on the tourism back into the market, information at official tourism website is important to change the perception of the customers. So Japan also target on marketing campaign. USD New Zealand about 256 million they were looking into the tourism recovery fund, and Spain also looked into the 4 pillars tourism recovery, as well as in South America, Argentina, with a population of 1 million Muslims over there, are also looking into social security contributions. So these are the evolution. Okay, last few slides of mine. From commercial traveling till 2019, we went into constricted traveling. Now we are into the controlled traveling, but soon, this year, we are going into corridor traveling, maybe die neighbors, and later on looking into community traveling 2023 and beyond. And some of the SWOT analysis or TOS analysis, these are very detailed. Yeah. So what we are looking into would be to promote the availability of Muslim facilities and halal through tourism website. You look into the friendly healthcare services, stability and Islamic artifacts in order to attract the non-Arab tourists into the market who might also be interested in culture and history. To develop a mobile app that features the availability of Muslim facility, access to hotel and food services, to promote and commercialize the stability and safety, websites to combat the perception, because perception is really, implanted in your mind, and that needs to be corrected. And we need to attract the rise of Gen Y Muslim travelers, because they are the new group of backpackers who love to, travel and explore. And in conclusion, the losses in travel and tourism industry is just not on monetary, but includes human resources and brand losses. So once the brand is gone, you need to create, it will become more expensive because you have to start from scratch. And the principle of decent work, including regulation of labor and health rights of tourism workers that dependent on transport and accommodation platforms, it will be the new way of highlighting in the gig economy. So in recommendation, more research studies need to be focused on certain aspects of halal tourism and halal hospitality. How do we minimize the negative impact of COVID-19 on the halal industry, and how and in what sense travelers' perceptions of COVID-19 impact their travel and tourism related behavior. So behavior is the thing that every one of us need to study before you offer any new services to the market. With that, thank you. And I just want to quote what Mahatma Gandhi said: travel is a language of peace. Tourism truly acts as a vehicle for mutual understanding through cultural exchange and foster peace of national and also international levels. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Back to Honorable MC.
Thank you very much, Shukran, for that presentation. I think it was quite insightful. in terms of how the global world has actually responded to the tourism, and in particular halal tourism. We'll have a discussion a bit more about that later. Ms. Munir, I think this is quite an important sector, and you coming from Mauritius, a critical sector for Mauritius, because Mauritius depends heavily on tourism. Perhaps can you just introduce yourself and then take us through what you are doing from a Mauritius perspective?
Of course. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Farida. You gave like really, really very insightful statistical pictures of what's happening around the world. If we are just talking about tourism industry at first, and then connecting it to the halal tourism industry. So as you know, because of the COVID, the whole world, the tourism industry collapsed, and the vision for a tourism industry is to get back to at least 80% of 2019 figures of we can reach in 2023. That would be like very ideal. Same goes to the Muslim travelers. Earlier Muslim travelers were like faith-based traveling, mostly happening with Hajj and Umrah kind of things. Muslim travelers are mostly, they were like, earlier period, people used to have, save their money for their Hajj travel. That was like the biggest trouble, Muslim travelers. But eventually how things are going on and all, and if you see the Muslim population is growing. Earlier they were restricted to few countries, but now Muslims are all around the world, and that's how the Muslim travel is impacting the world travel industry. So as all of you know that I come from Mauritius, which is a multicultural country, and a beautiful, very splendid destination. We suffered a lot in terms of tourism, if you say. We were in complete lockdown to all the countries around the world. We were not open for at least 2 years. We were closed. So obviously the industry suffered a lot in that case. But now we are opening up. There are lots of, it's been only 6 months. We have no quarantine. Otherwise you need to had 7 days quarantine to come to Mauritius, which was like really hindering in the process. But now, alhamdulillah, we are open. We are open to the world, despite being in the high-risk, list of these countries where we are having a lot of COVID cases. We have a very small population affected by a lot of COVID cases. But then again, the testings are going on. We are very good in vaccination. Almost 90% of population is vaccinated. 3rd dose is going on. 4th dose will be going on. So in that case, we are ready. We are recovering from the gap we got for 2 years. And now we have to be ready, and we have to think COVID as something which will be there for some time. So this is how the tourism is evolving all around.
Thank you for that. And I think one of the things that you've mentioned is the COVID and the lockdown restrictions. Other countries that were traditionally your big supply in terms of tourists, are they opening up, and are you starting to see some movement of tourists coming into your region?
Our country, like our main base was usually UK, US, and France, and they're pretty much open to us for the moment. So I think we are ready to cater to most of our existing market. But at the same time, we are also catering to emerging markets. So China comes to one of the very well emerging markets, which is like coming closer to our European market than other Asian countries. Indian market is something which we are looking forward. So in that case, we are ready, we are open, and we are emerging. It's like not just what we had, but we are planning to move further with our tourism industry.
Thank you. Mr. Suleiman, I think one of the things that, or one of the areas that you focus on also in your professional life is on the medical side. Can you just, first of all, of course, introduce yourself and then address us on the medical side and how that appears in terms of the halal sector?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Wanakum Sanbonani. Thank you, Neville. My name is Solly Suleiman, the President of the Minara Chamber and also a pharmacist by profession. The halal industry and its potential have been discussed for the past decade, and I welcome the realization of this initiative. This is just the beginning, and we have a long way to go to achieve our ultimate goal, namely to leverage the halal industry to improve our economy, increase our exports, reduce our poverty, and of course decrease unemployment. There is immense competition for this market, even from the non-Muslim suppliers, as has been mentioned before. Many countries are obviously targeting this market, and Ibrahim Patel has mentioned this. We can obviously learn from the Muslim countries that are already large exporters and who also benefit, as has been mentioned, from halal tourism. There may also be opportunity not only to learn but partner these countries, as well as many organizations that are involved in the halal trade. I just want to talk basically on halal pharmaceuticals, and I think this is important. This is kind of underrated. People don't understand the importance of halal pharmaceuticals. As you're aware, Islam is one of the fastest growing religions in the world. The world interest in halal consumption continues to grow. The European halal market has increased by 10 to 20% per annum. The awareness of halal has evolved into a feasible business model, appealing to Muslims as well as non-Muslims for its hygienic and contamination-free principles. Now, if you take the halal market, 26% of the market focuses on pharmaceuticals. The Muslim population will increase to 2.2 billion by the year 2030. And an area that seems to be growing quite dramatically is Europe, as well as America in that sense. Halal pharmaceuticals contain ingredients that are supposed to be halal and are produced according to Islamic regulations. The process of cultivation, manufacture, preparation, packaging, storage, and distribution are ensured to be clean, pure, and compliant with Sharia law. To be certified halal, every ingredient must be traceable. Products must not contain any ingredient derived from pig, alcohol, blood, predatory animals, human parts, or insects. Animal-derived ingredients must be from permissible animals slaughtered as per the method described by Islamic law. Without our knowledge, medication may contain ingredients or excipients that are not halal and are not manufactured in a manner that is aligned with Islamic values. Because the main concern amongst Muslims is the use of non-compliant substances, such as animal-based ingredients, things like gelatin, where there's always a controversy about the utilization of that. Islamic law allows for consumption of non-halal products in life-threatening situations. So there are certain cases where non-halal medication is allowed if it's life-threatening. Many pharmaceuticals may be arguably be used to prevent the occurrence of life-threatening situations. As a result, halal pharmaceuticals have not necessarily been explored to the extent of halal foods. So the focus has always been halal foods in South Africa, and I think the key is to now focus on other areas like cosmetics, vaccines, and pharmaceuticals. Now, pharmaceuticals that some of you may know contains both active pharmaceutical ingredients and excipients. The active ingredients are meant to produce the pharmacological activity or cause other direct effects in the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease, or to affect the structure and function of the body. Excipients are an inactive part. It's an inert substance, could be preservatives or lubricants, but there has been controversy regarding that as well. There's a general lack of knowledge concerning halal status of various medication in South Africa, and products may contain alcohol or questionable animal byproducts. Within the existing pharmaceutical industry, there is still plenty of work to be done to create a consistent awareness. If the situation allows, it's best for the halal-conscious consumer to seek halal-certified options, scan the ingredient list, or consult a pharmacist. To develop the halal pharmaceutical market, halal certifying bodies need to ensure that it undergoes a well-regulated and harmonized halal accreditation procedure. I think this is important. The focus, as I mentioned earlier on, is for food. We need to now start focusing on pharmaceuticals. Additionally, education is vital. Medical practitioners, health professionals need to be aware of the contents of the medication they prescribe and inform the general public accordingly. With the growing awareness of halal pharmaceuticals, countries like Australia, United States, and Singapore have started investing in halal pharmacies. The global halal pharmaceutical market is predicted to be in the region of about 151 billion rands by the year 2025, and that is throughout the world. As has been mentioned earlier on, many of the European countries, American countries are focusing on growing this market because of the large number of individuals that are focusing on halal pharmaceuticals. The halal pharmaceutical sector has seen several important developments over the past few years. Amongst these are the issuance of first halal license for prescription medicines by the Religious Authority of Malaysia. Halal pharmaceutical products are steadily gaining popularity throughout the world and are setting a new standard of safety and quality, and I think this is important. Halal certification helps to boost customers' trust regarding the products purchased as well as to increase the product sales. Halal products offered by several companies currently, for example, in the US, the US-based Noor Vitamins, and this is important as well. Supplements and vitamins are also being part of this whole sector as well. I think vaccines are another controversial topic at times. It has been strategically essential to know about the potential for halal vaccines covering financial, medical, and social aspects due to the growing Muslim population. The Islamic Organization of Medical Sciences in Kuwait, an important organization in the field of bioethics, used the concept of istihala, or transformation, in which you have some material which is originally prohibited becomes permissible after chemical transformation, and this is what happens when you look at the gelatin ingredient as well in certain capsules. Muslim jurists have addressed questions like this before, like the vaccination for swine flu, where there were a lot of controversy or a huge discussion. So I think this is important. So it's not just the food that we focus on. It's halal pharmaceuticals. We have to also focus on cosmetics, vaccines, and that type of thing. With the increasing Muslim population, the demand for halal pharmaceuticals will increase. This provides an opportunity for the South African pharmaceutical industry to become more competitive in penetrating this global halal industry. With a dependable and globally accredited halal certification system for pharmaceutical products, pharmaceutical companies will not only provide an added layer of assurance for halal consumers, but they will also ensure the health and safety of the population and potentially stimulate economic growth through exports. What do we have to do in KZN and South Africa? We have to provide a safe and secure environment to develop the halal export industry as well as halal tourism. And halal tourism, as has been mentioned, also includes halal medical tourism. We have to remove red tape to do business, and this is important and critical. We have to provide funding to grow small and medium business to be able to meet the requirements of the halal pharmaceutical world. We have to also provide funding for research, and I think this is an important aspect. The research is going to be very critical. The Islamic Medical Association of South Africa has a committee in place to research halal pharmaceuticals, halal vaccines, cosmetics, nutraceuticals, herbal medicine, and vitamins. We have to have better communication channels between halal authorities and government. Interaction with initiatives in South Africa and internationally has to be between government and the private sector. An important aspect as well is guidance and mentorship for SMMEs in how to export and find export markets. Thank you. Jazakallah.
Thank you very much. You've mentioned quite a few important aspects related to the medical fraternity, related to the sector. I think what I'll do is I'll take the last speaker, and then I will then come around with a round of questions for each delegate. Thank you, Mr. Suleiman, for that detailed presentation. Can I now introduce Mr. Nizam Kala, CEO of AMCA, South Africa, who will address us in terms of beauty and the cosmetics. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Neville. Good morning, everybody. Assalamu alaikum, Sanbonani and Banakam. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, we'd like to thank our panelists for giving us that very insightful overview on the halal market. And if we look at going forward, if you look at the whole halal global market in the cosmetic industry, we see that the market is worth about $68 billion in 2022, and it's growing at about 3%. And the market primarily exists in Asia. That's about 62% of the market, and about 35% in in Africa and Middle East. So these are the two major markets that products are sold in. That's Africa, Middle East, and Asia. So if you look at the products, our hair care products, skin care, color cosmetics, and fragrances. Channels that the products are distributed in are in-store as well as online. So about 20%, the online growth is about 20%. It's growing at about a rate of 20% per annum. 97% of the market is in these three areas, in Asia, Africa, and Middle East. And if we look at why the market is growing, 23% of the world's population are Muslim. The consumers are looking for lifestyle choices, and it's not a fleeting trend. It's the gap in the market. There's a gap, and there's an opportunity for people to be marketing products in the halal category. So it's a niche market, combined beauty, and consumers are looking at combining beauty with religious observation. Companies are rebranding and diversifying products to be more inclusive, and the blurring of halal and other certified products it's becoming more prevalent. And we're seeing much more new entrants in this market. Consumers are young, fashion conscious, and are modest. So basically, consumers want to see that they want to honor their religious beliefs. Go to the next slide. So if you look at it, the whole brand image is all about values, virtues, beliefs, and they want to make sure that they're halal compliant. So consumers are very discerning. The purchasing decision is done to meet the aspirational needs of the consumer. It's all about the brand perception, the image, and ensuring that consumers are using halal compliant products. So let's look at what is happening in the market. It's all about the eco-ethical consumer consciousness that's becoming very prevalent, and boundaries are blurring about halal products. Consumers are looking for halal, vegan, kosher, organic or natural, cruelty-free, and sustainable green products. So consumers are looking for multiple claims on the products to ensure that the market is big enough, and manufacturers want to make sure that they satisfy more consumers in the different categories. So these are the key players in the market, like Wipro makes Safi in Malaysia. They are market leaders there. And there's many other companies in the market like Clara, Warda, and Prataco. And these are some of the products. There's skincare, fragrances, lipsticks, and color cosmetics. The brands in the market, they are Amara, 786, Erika, and there's quite a good few brands that consumers are already purchasing. Multinationals are looking at entering this market, such as Unilever, L'Oreal, Beiersdorf, are looking at, even Estee Lauder has launched some products in the market. And then if you look at Macy's, retailers, and H&M, they're entering the fashion markets, as was mentioned earlier. So the supply chain capability, Solly has covered some of the key principles, but just the team needs to be understanding of principles, of the halal principles, halal compliance, hygiene protocols, as well as good manufacturing practices. The value chain ensuring no contamination takes place, whether it's be in the raw material, packaging, preparation, manufacturing, storage, as well as ensuring that in the entire value chain, there is good physical segregation between halal and non and haram products. Classification of halal ingredients, depending on the source, ingredients derived from animals need to be verified. And in general, the following sources are deemed to be halal, that's marine, plant, and synthetic. And to get certified, we need to ensure there's halal ingredients, it's traceable, halal compliant manufacturing as well as supply chain, and annual audits need to take place. Halal market is rising, and this consumer, as we talked about, is very discerning, and you can see that the markets that it's growing in, US, it's growing at a higher rate than other markets. In Spain, it's growing very well. India, as well as the Middle East. So these are the growing markets. We go to the next slide, and we see that because of the increase in Muslim population, the halal market is growing, purchasing power is increasing, and the market is very lucrative. So if you look at the halal, the halal opportunity is great, and opportunities are like sunrises. If you wait too long, you miss them. And with these few words, I'd like to say thank you to the organizers for giving us this opportunity to share these thoughts with you. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much for that very insightful presentation. I think quite a lot of learnings. One can start asking themselves lots of questions, especially related to quite interrelated between, of course, halal pharmaceuticals and halal cosmetics, because there tends to be a lot of chemicals that are included within the two sectors. Let me start with you, Mr. Suleiman. You spoke quite extensively about the harmonization of the criteria in terms of standards and assessment of what is actually contained within the different products. Can you just talk a little bit more about that, and what do you currently see where the gap is in terms of the harmonization of standards?
Yeah, I think the important aspect is to understand what's in the active ingredient as well as excipients. You know, most of these medications have both active ingredient that has that pharmacological effect, and of course you've got the excipients, which are really not active, but at the same time they play a role in allowing for stability, have preservation and lubricants and that type of thing. So I think it's important that we kind of, if you take South African context, we need to take quite a lot of the most common medications to start off with, and then start interrogating what's there. But then you need to have you have to have a certain amount of protocols to follow. But in South Africa, we don't have that set up fully, because with Islamic Medical Research just started this process now, and you know, you need to know exactly, because when you're going back to excipients too, you need to go back to the source. What source is there? Is it from an animal source, non-animal source? If it's an animal source, was it slaughtered in the Islamic way? Was it not slaughtered in the Islamic way? Pig, any product from pig is obviously not acceptable or allowed. So I think the key is for us to now focus on looking at that and basically working with the manufacturers and come up with a plan where we could then have halal certifying bodies certify these products and then look at exporting it. So that's a big market out there for us to export, you know.
Absolutely. Which countries are currently leading in terms of that harmonized system?
I think Malaysia seems to have protocols in place already. They've got it for quite a few years now, so they have actually, so we could learn from these countries. So Malaysia, Indonesia is considering it, but Indonesia is still fairly backward, but there's a big demand in these majority Muslim countries for that. I think if you look at Pakistan as well, they've also got focus on halal pharmaceuticals. So these Muslim majority countries the population is becoming very, very focused and very aware of halal pharmaceuticals and vaccines. Of course, there was a lot of controversy in South Africa regarding vaccines. from non-halal source.
Nizam, what would be your response? A similar question to you in terms of the issues around accreditation and, of course, traceability in terms of the source of the ingredients going into your products.
So in terms of traceability, it's critical to keep a log and, manage the whole process. That's very important. And to get halal certification, is definitely, as Solly was saying, that you need to make sure that in terms of, the segregation, raw materials cannot be put, like if you're making a product on a production line, we can't have a halal product on the same line, in the same vessel, compounding non-halal product. So what happens, because depending on the quality, like say if there's a raw material like alcohol in a batch, and it's compounded in a particular vessel, that vessel needs to be cleaned out and whatever, so to ensure what they call it cleanliness and segregation is very critical. So some people and authorities, I'm not the expert on the certification process, but I'm sure we got the ulama out there in the market, in our audience here, who will able to guide us that preferably physical segregation, where you make a compounded product which is halal, don't make it in the same vessel with a non-halal product. So these are issues that need to be managed very carefully.
Yeah, and how does your sector adapt itself, especially when you're competing globally with large brands that have been entrenched in terms of their market share?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example, and I'm sure Professor Farida will able to also tell us that if you look at some of the raw material, like Wipro is a very big multinational company, and they sell a product called Safi, and that's a very good brand in Malaysia, and they are leaders in that market, and they're looking at increasing their market share in Indonesia, and I've been speaking to some of the people even in Indonesia, that if you look at the halal sector, people are looking for good image, good product, but at the same time, they're not willing to just compromise brand image and perception. So brand equity is critical. So whilst anybody can enter the market, like any other brand, nobody wants to buy a product that people are not comfortable with the brand values and the brand image, and they want that endorsement from a reasonable company that can assure them that the quality is of substance there.
Okay. Ms. Munir, Mr. Suleiman in his address earlier spoke about medical tourism. How's that sector in Mauritius?
Medical tourism is in fact a growing sector in Mauritius. I can relate it a lot because I'm also a healthcare facilitator. So it comes directly from a healthcare facilitator who is sending patients away. Mostly my target market goes to India. But of course we can be open to Durban or South Africa as well, because this region is also very rich in medical facilities and all. When we talk about Mauritius, we are developing now, but if we talk about tertiary, like primary and secondary health, we are very good. We're doing very well till secondary health. When it comes to tertiary part, we are not well equipped. So then we have to send patients away. And in this case, medical tourism is growing because you have to know where you're going, which doctor you're going, which flights you're going to take, where you're going to stay, what kind of food you will be getting there, whether the place is hygienic, whether you're going to like the place. So it comes a lot with the tourism aspect in a medical sense.
Professor Hassan, I think if you can talk to us also about medical tourism within Malaysia? Is it a growing market? And what do you see in terms of that from a regional coordination perspective?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, I think I would like to add a little bit on this medical tourism because I think there is one aspect known as Islamic medical tourism. And in Malaysia, it was very popular right before COVID. And during COVID, there were, no engagement, no traveling and all that. Now, interestingly, that I would like to share is that when we talk about Islamic medical tourism, is also known as alternative medicine, okay, or alternative medical tourism, because they go into natural products, just like in India you have, what do you call that, Ayurveda and all the herbal things and whatever not. Everything is organic. And okay, apart from that, they were looking into something that is chemical free, if possible, or even, of course, if possible, non-halal items in it. You know that we talk about the heart surgery where you use the arteries of the pig, and if there's an alternative for that, they would look into synthetic, but a lot of it is still under research. So, all right. Now, what happened is that I like to quote what Brother Nizam mentioned earlier about brand equity, about perception studies, and all that, because we had a lot of neighboring countries coming to Malaysia. Although it's more expensive than in their own country, but they would prefer to come to Malaysia for the value as well as the trust, as well as, I would say, the quality that they perceive that it is better to do it here in Malaysia. So we do have hospitals or healthcare centers which emphasize on Islamic medical tourism. And on top of that, interestingly, that includes also cataract operation plus the what do you call that? LASIK operation and all that, whereby they package it together with facilities like what Sister Nusrat mentioned just now, whereby it goes together with the accommodation, transportation, food, and also places. This is prior COVID, places that they can visit, like so that they can also do some shopping or some leisure visit. So, but all this now needs to be repackaged, because with the COVID thing in existence, there are certain do's and don'ts. A lot of SOPs needs to be adhered, and so I guess that's a few things that I would like to share about medical tourism. But I also agree what just now another brother was mentioning, that Malaysia, Pakistan, Indonesia were into it because the customer or the consumers demand it, and they become more educated, and it was a request for them. So we have no choice but to do more research, especially the scientists in the universities, in the pharmaceutical line, to keep on doing, halal to discover halal medicine, including vaccine. So I think I stop here now, because I think the MC wanted to stop me just now. But I don't want to share more actually on traceability and ingredient and certification if you want me to share later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a debate that we can have for the full day, most certainly. And I think just taking a note from what Nizam said in his presentation as well, it moves also closer to, I like how he put it, blurred boundaries between the halal market and other markets, because in this instance, you're talking about the ethics of producing products. And at this day and age, a lot of people, and you would have seen that huge movement globally, whether you're going into being a vegan or just being vegetarian, etc., there is that great move towards ethical production of products, which really creates a huge market for the halal products, because they're already doing that.
In fact, yeah, that's what we say halal is ethical. This is the term we use for halal products and services. So in a way, when we are promoting something halal, it already entailing vegan, it already entailing organic, environmental friendly. So there's so many things connected to halal, and that's why I think they explained that it's blurring the line between all these.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to need to try and round off. I'm just going to give each of my speakers literally 1 minute just to say last few words, and then we'll then conclude the session. And then we'll break for lunch. Prof, can we just give you 1 minute, literally 1 minute? I know you're very passionate.
Thank you. All right. I really want to say something that my colleagues mentioned just now. Okay, when we talk about traceability, it is so important in both product and services, whether it's food or whether it is cosmetic or many others, because you need to know where it goes wrong. So I think you all heard the issue last year regarding the meat cartel. That became, one alarming period where countries are affected, because you need to trace where it comes from. Secondly, we are looking into certification. It has been debatable all the time, but I would consider that certification within the region or continents are quite common rather than cross-continent, because we have to handle mazhab, different scholars and different groups of beliefs. There are common fundamentally in principle, but there are slight differences here and there. So with that, thank you.
Shukran. Ms. Munir?
I would just like to sum up when we're talking about halal tourism. And in context of Mauritius, we are very much ready. We talk about halal tourism in length, what is required and practicality of it. In Mauritius, we have prayer rooms in the airport. Whenever you reach, you got your prayer rooms. You have many places you have water in the toilets, which is like the need of any halal, like Muslim travelers. So if you see Muslim travelers, we have some which are needed. So, water-based toilets is something we need. Prayer rooms is something we need. Halal food is something we need. So when we talk about the primary things of halal tourism, we are pretty much ready. Halal food is very much available in Mauritius, lots of the butchers and all. We're doing very good, the halal certification bodies, they're doing very good jobs. So food-wise, we are good. When it comes to, second level of problems of halal tourism is like, so second level of that, we get the environment, You need to have an environment. We are traveling to a country which is not Islamophobic. I live in Mauritius, I dress like this, and we are comfortably safe, being Muslim there and attracting Muslims there.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Mr. Suleiman?
Thank you. I think one of the most important things that we need to kind of do going forward in the short term is to really educate people of what halal is about. Sometimes you have people thinking that, completely against the concept of halal and that type of thing because of misunderstanding, misconception. So I think even in South Africa, we need to educate the population on the importance of halal, and then of course use it as a vehicle to educate and use it as a vehicle to empower, reduce poverty, reduce unemployment, and find ways to grow this market. It's such a phenomenal market, such a massive market. I mean, places like Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, and all these countries have that foresight and vision to focus on that market, and we've got the potential. South Africa has such a lot of potential. It's a beautiful country, and if we can do that, we get rid of a lot of unfortunate, challenges that we have in this country. So I think it's important and critical. And of course, from a medical tourism point of view and from a halal tourism point of view, we really need to find ways to bring people into this country. It's got so much to showcase, so much of tourism sites that we have all over the country. Was in Jeddah a few years ago, and when I spoke to someone there at the Jeddah Chamber of Commerce, I said, why don't you guys come to South Africa? We can have golf tourism, we can have normal tourism to the game sites and the mountains and the sea. He said, no, we're not going to come here because to KZN, we'd rather go to Cape Town because we are worried about the security. So I think we need to fix these things. Government needs to be very focused on how we can have a plan in place to fix problems. Otherwise, we're not going to get anywhere with this entire process, Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Nizam, Mr. Kala, final words from your side, just 1 minute.
Thank you, Neville. So, as you were saying, people are becoming more conscious. And I think the biggest movement that's taking place amongst consumers is that eco-ethical consciousness. Consumers are becoming much more aware, they're concerned, they're really discerning, and they're becoming more aware because of social media. People know what's going on, and people are buying products without sodium lauryl sulfate or things like that. So from a South African perspective, this gives us a big opportunity to look at this new opportunity in Africa, so we can export, and using, as that was mentioned earlier, that we can use the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, so that we can use South Africa as a springboard to export halal products to the large community in Africa, because there's a big audience, a big market there, and the opportunity is great. And I think as a country, we got this opportunity to export halal products into different parts of Africa and even into other international markets. So I think here's an opportunity to use this as a marker more than anything else, and market it not only halal, but eco-ethical. So with these few words, thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Thank you. To all my delegates, I want to say shukran for participating in the session and giving us information. As Mr. Suleiman said, this conference really is intended to provide information and to educate. So we get to understand what halal means and how we get to participate in the halal economy. And it's not this monster. It's actually our daily life of products that are produced in an ethical way, and where you're able to trace the source of the ingredients of those products. So I think that's really the main principle of the session, and it just so happens that it has for generations being embraced by the Muslim community, but it is for the people, the good of the people. So I want to thank my panelists, and then we're going to break for lunch for half an hour. For our guests who are online, we will email you the food. For the guests that are here, there is a hall by the exhibition area where we can have lunch. And we're just going to do exchange of gifts and for those that are physical at the event. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to repeat, we will recommence in 30 minutes. The next session will begin promptly at 2 p.m. Could I have all delegates please return to the main plenary room for the next panel discussion at 2 p.m. Thank you. For delegates who wish to use the prayer rooms, when you leave the auditorium, you go to your left, walk past the exhibition area towards the arena. The prayer rooms are well marked. For delegates who wish to use the prayer rooms are past the exhibition area. They are well marked. Gentlemen, a reminder for all our international and out-of-town guests, from guests outside of the greater eThekwini municipality area, if you wish to visit Durban Trade Port, the port of Durban, or Richards Bay IDZ tomorrow, please sign up by 2 p.m. at the registration desk. If you wish to visit Durban Trade Port, Richards Bay IDZ, or the Port of Durban, please sign up by 2 p.m. today at the registration desk. For guests who wish to visit the Mandela Capture Site or the Mahatma Gandhi settlement on Thursday, please make sure that you also sign up at the registration desk.